Good evening. Today I will be talking about learning difficulties, and the focus will be on visual perceptual skills, which is one of the most common skills that children with learning disabilities have. There are 7 components to the visual perceptual skills, but I will be talking only about 4, which was most visible in one of my students. As observed in Harshavardhan's work in his notebooks and his interaction with his subject teachers, these 4, the visual discrimination, visual closure, visual figure ground discrimination, and visual spatial relationships, were found to be very challenging for him. Now, Harsha shows visual discrimination, which is the ability to notice differences between similar looking objects. And while this is being done, he might also have a problem recognizing similar looking words and similar looking letters. I did an activity with him in which he had to read a grid of different shapes and colors. And let's see how he has performed here.
1. Blue box, yellow triangle, green circle, orange cross, and brown smiley. Blue box, yellow triangle, blue box, orange.
After completion of this activity, he had made a total of 7 errors, which was good, but he did say that he faced challenges because the circles were of different colors, and to move from one image to the other, he did have a challenge. It took total of 2 minutes and 30 seconds to complete this activity. Other evidences where he has shown that he has visual discrimination is when he is writing his spellings in which he has used reversals. He has written a T instead of an F for the word identify. He has used the word for the word inquiry. He has used the word P instead of a Q, which we know are similar looking words. More confusion in identifying I and E, F and H has been seen in his work. Another component of visual perpetual skill is the visual closure. Whenever we want to write a correct spelling, we visualize the entire word. But here you can see that the student has written a very elongated word where we know that he cannot figure out where the word begins and where the word ends. This is a paragraph that he has written. Earlier, I thought he didn't know how to put gaps between letters, but now I realize that he does not know where a word begins and where a word ends, even two-letter words. Now, why do children make mistakes with B and D? Both letters are mirror images of each other. The confusion arises because both letters have a vertical line and a round part, but the direction of the round part differs. Now, as teachers, what we do is we focus only on teaching the child to shape these letters, but we need to teach the child how these words are written. Generally, what we do is we draw a line and then we do those curves and say a B is a curve on the other side and a D is a curve in the other. But we don't write D as with the first when we draw a straight line. So we need to practice more on how a letter is written. The sequence of writing the letter has to be done with him. Harsha makes spelling errors because he also has a problem where he cannot recognize incomplete letters. Like, for example, was and saw could be two very similar looking words, which can create a confusion because he lacks to see the complete word. When he is asked to write from the board, many at times teachers and facilitators have told me that he makes errors even then. He is losing the place of punctuations as he's struggling to write the target letter. We can see here, uh, I have given an example of the punctuation, but even with the word, this can happen. Here, the inverted commas, some of them are three, some of them are two, some of them are 2 lines and a dot. So here we can see that the child is not able to focus on the target symbol or the letter that he has to write. Cursor lacks visual spatial relationship. This involves understanding the orientation of objects and shapes in space and their relationships to each other. When a child struggles with visual spatial relationships, he will make errors not only recognizing the letters, but even mathematic symbols like a cross and a plus sign or a multiplication sign. So these could also be a challenge for him. Now here you can see that the words are not written on the line, the letters are not within the words, and the student also struggles to follow the margin, which is another example about visual pieces where he is having a difficulty. More examples of his work. Now, with this, these are the problems. These are the 4 problems where he has visual closure issues and he has problems with recognizing the complete word, his spacing. So what can we do about it? When a child has learning difficulties which involve visual perpetual skills, there are many things that can be done, but we need to see on what can we provide as teachers. Now, here you could see visual therapy, occupational therapy. This could be done, but can we provide them? But what we can provide is educational interventions like specialized learning strategies and tools, and especially skill building activities is my main focus here. Because activities like puzzles and matching games and patterns, recognition task, these activities will give the child practice for which is believed that a child can get better in recognizing, identifying complete images. Let's see some of the activities that I have done with him. This activity involved making a color change with paper. This activity required the child to recognize different colors, ensure that the sequence was color followed, and it aided the visual discrimination.
Start. This is the same color change that you have to make.
It took about 1 minute and 30 seconds to do this. This was a very easy activity.
Great. So it took 1 minute 20 seconds. I'll stop the timer. Check if it is correct. Can you read out the colors?
This activity aided to visual sequencing and also visual memory. We did another activity where shapes were given to the child and he had to place the correct shape with the correct image. This would help the child to understand the complete picture, the ability to recognize an incomplete shape or image as a whole. And this activity was done for that.
3, 2, 1, go.
What is that?
You can put the match there. Which animal matches, you can put it on the screen. Start. Correct. 1 over.
We also played games like Battleship. This was for him to understand and differentiate between grade coordinations, understanding patterns, and to understanding the position and spaces. And the players also use spatial reasoning to strategize the placement of their ships to guide the location. And this also helped him to understand the space on where to locate, which could be very handy in writing.
E10.
E10 is a hit. Okay. Next.
C8. C8.
Show me where C8.
Not it.
C8. Next.
We also did another activity where he had a jumbled picture was given to him in which he performed well. So I ruled out the visual form consistency skill. You can see here how he has performed in that skill.
So you need to find all the shapes from here. Okay, there is a square, triangle, and a circle. So are you making notes of the complete.
So the benefits. Students with learning difficulties, especially in visual discrimination, can benefit significantly from these activities. These activities are not only engaging, but they also offer practical benefits in developing specific visual perceptual skills. Now, these activities have to be done continuously for a specific period of time with different levels of difficulty. So I have a couple of requirements as an LDN facilitator. If I could get the student at least for 2 to 3 periods per week, I do understand that with the busy schedule, the child also has to go to various classes. But he needs to make sense of things that have already been given to him so that he can move forward. So it's very important that I get more time with the child. Printouts to make resources, a computer in the LDN room, and some board games that enhance attention. To sustain attention, that would be a couple of requirements that would help not only Harsha, but many other students who might be facing similar challenges. Thank you for giving me your time. Have a good evening.